some excitement. Before we dive into the heart of today's session, let's revive the engineers with a quick introduction. My name is Zizi, and I'm absolutely excited to have Mulka bin Yusuf by my side. And now, welcome to the very first day of seminars.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to the electrifying appeal of seminars. Today marks the beginning of an incredible journey, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have each one of you here.
Now, let's talk about a topic that's not just a trend. It's total game changer, emotional intelligence in business. In a world where connections and relationships rule the roost, mastering our emotions can truly lead us to new heights.
A leader in the world's tech who's about to blow off your minds, a remarkable graduate of Ottawa University, the founder and the CEO of iPact Consult. His outstanding leadership has transformed iPact into an innovative and inclusive enterprise
And made him one of the most successful project managers and life coaches. It's our absolute pleasure to introduce to you
the one and only
Dr. Khaled Jr. Khaled.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for this amazing introduction. As you all know, or some of you guys already know, so I'm an old teacher at Esprit, so I used to teach different classes, like related to different courses, related to artificial intelligence, web, mobile development, but also some soft skills like communication, interpersonal communication. So welcome everyone, and I hope we'll have a very good, an amazing journey today together. Okay, so today we'll be dealing with the emotional intelligence in business. So we'll start by asking a few questions. So have you ever been in such a situation before? For instance, like too many challenges you face. You could be as a student, it could be as a leader, as a manager, as an entrepreneur. So who has faced many challenges before, like during his studies, preparation, course preparation, or as a teacher, as a student? You can raise your hand if you want. Yes, anyone, yes, okay. Okay, good. Often anxious in the workplace. Who have been in an anxious environment, like he doesn't feel good, he feels very anxious regarding his colleagues or the environment? Nobody? So, because Esprit is perfect environment, right? Okay, good. Okay, so grappling with colleagues' problems. We all faced like some challenges and some, let's say, conflicts with some colleagues when we are dealing with projects, or when we are like, before we are having exams or this. So we have many other issues, and I will start by telling you guys my own story. So how I started my own business. So as I told you, so 2 years ago, I was in Canada for a long time and the US, and then I came back to Tunisia. I spent like few years here, and then I decided to start my business in Canada, in Montreal. I remember the first few months, they were so challenging. So many things to do. We are a small team. We are like 5 people, and we had so much stuff to do. I didn't know how to start. We have so many deadlines. We have milestones. We have goals, but we don't know how to start. We have a team to manage. Everyone has his personality, his behavior. Communication is different from country to another. We have people from different countries. So how to deal with all that when you have resources that are very different, human resources, material system resources, and when you have so many challenges, especially when you start a new business or when you are dealing with team management. So the first few months were horrible. I was literally like not sleeping at all the whole day, like at night. So we were working so much all together, and understood something important, that we can be probably theoretically we can manage, be good managers, and we can learn so many things theoretically, but in practice things are so much different. Because the environment is an insecure environment. We have so many events occurring, we have so many surprises, and the theory has nothing to do with the practice. And so I understood that we can also be intelligent, we can have good skills or lots of competencies in our own field technically, but when it comes to managing and making in the real business, things are so much different. That's why somehow IQ is somehow old school, let's say, compared to EQ or emotional intelligence. And that's our topics today. Okay, so how did I see myself dealing with all these issues when I started, as I told you, my business? It was like this. I thought everything will be fine, but the reality was so different, unfortunately. Okay, and then so I'm just preparing you guys to the real life in business. So first question: are emotions stable? No? Okay, yes? Okay. Oh. So emotions have a continuous alternation between what we call the state of love or the state of improvement, self-improvement, and the state of fearness, and where we step back and we have some kind of fear. Okay? So why? Because when it's part of us, we have two, let's say, basic modes. The first one is when we have some fear, so we step back, or we are moving forward and we are letting things like go, and we are just receiving everything. So here we are the phase of growth, and here we are the phase of protection. So sometimes you can have an opportunity and you don't know what to do. Either it's an opportunity or it's a threat, right? So depending on your emotional aspect and the situation and all the context where the opportunity comes from, you can decide whether, or you feel it, whether it's a growth opportunity, or it's an opportunity, or it's more a kind of threat for you. So here you are in a mode of protection, okay? So it depends here. So that's why emotions are very, let's say, dynamic, but they do have a long-term effect on us. So they have good. Sometimes they can have good, long-lasting effect. For example, you can see this baby. He's smiling, and as he's growing up, he's keeping his smile. Okay. So what I'm showing this because sometimes, the emotions are affected by our thoughts and our behavior and our physical aspect too. Our faces, our macro expressions, let's say, are also affected by our, let's say, attitude over time as a long-lasting effect. Or they can have also a bad effect on us. This is a good example of this lady. So you can see from people's eyes actually how many ups and downs they had in the long-term, their long-term past. Okay, so emotions are dynamic, so that's the answer. And actually it's a whole, let's say, equation between the heart and the brain, exactly. So who does the last word? Who has the final word, the heart or the brain? The brain? Okay. Who says the brain? Okay. Heart? Okay. Heart? Okay, we'll answer this question. Okay, let's have a test of what I call a test of two neighbors. So let's say on your, so you move it to a new place and you have in a neighborhood and you have two neighbors. You have a neighbor on the left side and you have another neighbor on your right side, okay, of your house. So the neighbor on the left side is always angry. He never says hi to you. He never brought you anything. Any gift, any present for Christmas or for a birthday or anything. And you have another neighbor on the right side. Every day you wake up in the morning before coming to school or to work, and he brings you some flowers every day. And for a whole year, for 365 days. And one day you woke up before going to work, and both of them brings you flowers. So who will impress you more? Huh? Who will have a bigger effect emotionally on you? The one who brings you everyday flowers, or no? Why? What's the reason? Yes, so why? What's the reason? Yeah? It's a special. Okay, yeah, that's how humans work. Yeah, usually we are supposed to follow people who are used to because they are our comfort zone. But emotions, they work differently. If I follow my thoughts, I will thinking that this guy on the right side, he's always bringing flowers, so he's a nice person, so I'll be following him. But the reality is so different. I follow more my emotions for some reason and my heart. So, actually, the worst battle actually is between what we know and what we feel. So it's how to find the balance between our heart and our brain. So that's the whole question here. Okay, so, and then the next question is how to control emotions. First, are we able to control emotions or not? Okay, who says yes? Okay, who says no? Okay. Okay, so can you tell us how can we control our emotions? By practice? Okay. Unfortunately, the answer is no. We can never control our emotions. It's not about controlling because we are not perfect. If we are perfect, we can't control our emotions. But it's all about managing, accepting them, identifying them, being aware of our emotions and managing them over time. And managing means not stopping them, but accepting them and let go sometimes, somehow, or just dealing with them, okay? Once we are aware, the only condition is we are aware of this emotion. Okay, so it's all about, as I said, progression and not perfection. If we are perfect, we can actually control everything. But life, our environment, everything in our life is not perfect. So it's more about progression and not perfection. So here, leadership is all about emotional intelligence. Management is taught, while leadership is experienced. So you may learn like different courses, many years of studies for management, but when it comes to real practice in a workplace, it's all different. Everything is so different. It's all more about practicing this emotional intelligence. So let's put our belts on, everyone, and we'll start actually and see together how we can develop this emotional intelligence. So I will start by asking you guys to read aloud the color on the writing here, okay? And we'll see what's gonna happen. So the color is white, okay? This is white. No, let's start again. Okay. Okay, please read aloud the color of the writing. Okay, the color of the writing, not what's written. Okay, this is white. Perfect. Yes, good. That's good.
Red, yellow, red, green, yellow, green, yellow, red, green, white, green, red, white, yellow, red, green, white.
Okay, good guys. Good. Let's applaud everyone. You see, it's exactly what happens, like this visual. The visual and mental confusion, it happens also for the heart. It's exactly the same thing. When we have some feelings, it works against our brain sometimes and against our thoughts. Even though we are seeing something, but our brain works differently. That's exactly what happens to our behavior or also to our heart, our emotions. So we have a situation, and from that situation we have an occurring situation, and then we have some thoughts. We develop some thoughts. It could be an abstract situation that we're thinking about, not realistic. And then we develop some feelings, so we go the emotional aspect, and then from these feelings, we have a behavior. We behave and we act accordingly to these emotions. So this is actually the whole thing. The thoughts create feelings, okay? And from these feelings, we have a behavior based on these feelings. Let's say I'm super angry. Someone came who is super late to have a very important meeting. and I became very angry and will behave in a bad way. Or like I can probably be aware of that, the fact that I'm super angry, and I can probably try to find a way to manage this emotion in order not to let it be seen by everyone. So the feelings, the thoughts create feelings, feelings create behavior, and this behavior will reinforce these thoughts. Okay? So the idea here is to be able to do what we call a short circuit between the emotions and the thoughts. So let's say we have an occurring event, we have some feelings and some emotions, and then we have reasoning, and we have to make a decision before we go into action, and before we go to the action. So what we do here, instead of going to the action side, we try to create what we call short circuit between our feelings and our thoughts. So the idea is to be able to develop alternatives to first be aware of our emotions, trying to understand them, which is not easy, to be honest. And then we try to manage these emotions and think if the right decision will be accurate and will be good for me or not. For example, I can develop 3 options, okay? First option, I'm super angry against this guy who came super late, he didn't do his homework. So first thinking, I will not let him get in. Okay? Second option, I will be super angry, I will be yelling at him. Third option, it will be more benefic if I'll just ask him to sit down, to listen, and I can talk to him later. Only the 2 of us in person, and then I can make sure he won't make the same mistake again. So here we have 3 options, but the idea is which option makes me feel much better. Probably the option is yelling at him will be later make me feel so bad, okay? Or I will give a bad image of myself, and people will think I'm super angry, or probably it's a better idea to just give him a notice or inform him the fact that he has been late, and make sure he can sit and can actually be part of the meeting, because it's more important that he attend the meeting, and then I make sure I give him, I let him know that I appreciate that. So here it's all about thinking about what is the best solution, and also it can happen after the event occurred. For example, I was super angry against him, so I can let him in, and then I can behave anyway. So idea is not to stop myself. I can behave the way I'm feeling more comfortable. I can yell at him. I can be super nervous. It's fine. But the most important thing is what I I call retrospective. Retrospective is about thinking about what happened later on at night or the day after, and making sure I try to analyze what happened, to understand what happened, and then I ask myself what is the best option to do, okay? And then I can ask myself what could I have done better, okay? So that next time it happens again, I can think about these emotions again, and I can think about how I can do things much better. So then that's what we call AI here, emotional intelligence, and then we go to the execution part. So emotionally intelligent leaders know when to display emotions and when to delay emotions. So here we are dealing about leaders. When you are in a team and you are a leader, you are leading your team, you have to inspire your team. You have to be the best example for your team. So idea here, sometimes you can use your emotions, of course, but you have to use them in a smart way. If you are a bit anxious or nervous about something that happened, you can show that in a way that doesn't demotivate your team, but it will just show him that you are not comfortable with the situation. Or you can sometimes want to give him a good emotion, so you create some challenge, okay? There is a pressure, so you are inspiring to them, so you can actually spread this emotion. But the most important thing is to know what kind of emotion you want to give them and to share with them. So, and sometimes when you are super nervous, you can just probably learn how to delay your emotions, meaning that you will be dealing with the situation and move on. So here, just a quick example of what we call the Plutchik emotions, 24 emotions. As you can see, here are the basic ones. For example, I can take any example here. You have rage, you're nervous, contrariety. So as you can see here, it's a progress from the extreme, from the lowest to the strongest. So this is the basic types of emotions that were first invented and provided by a guy called Plutchik. And then another guy, we'll see him now, his name is Daniel Goleman. He proposed a new way of thinking about our emotional intelligence, especially in the workplace, and apply it to the real life situation, especially for leadership. And this guy, Daniel Goleman, he developed more than 25 competencies and skills that you can develop to improve your leadership skills. Okay? So, the 5 essential ones, we'll mention the group of 5 ones. So, the self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation. So, and then we have the empathy and social skills. The first 3 ones are self-applied. I apply them to myself. So, there are intra-personal skills. We have the self-awareness, meaning that I'm aware of myself, my emotions, in a situation, in an environment. Self-regulation, meaning that I'm able to manage these emotions. And motivation, meaning that I'm motivated enough to deal with these emotions. And then you have the empathy when dealing with others, and the social skills. So the 2 of them are about dealing with other people. So they're interpersonal skills, sorry. So, to be emotional intelligence means to understand the power emotions of you and of others, and to handle it properly. So we have always these 2 parts, myself and others, okay? So, let's ask a few questions that are fundamental here. First, the self-awareness. Am I aware of my emotions and tendencies as they occur? Second question, self-regulation. Can I manage my emotions and behavior positively? Third question, empathy. Can I read other emotions accurately during interactions? This is very important. Sometimes you are dealing with people and you don't understand why they didn't call you again. They don't want to show up anymore. They don't want to talk to you. You call them, they don't answer. But behind that, there is a reason. Maybe you didn't see it, you didn't notice it, but when you are dealing with them, when this guy or this person was experiencing you, something bad happened, but you weren't aware of it, but something made him feel bad about it, and probably he felt so bad that he doesn't want to talk to you anymore, okay? And this happens very often, because here we didn't take into consideration the empathy aspect. And the last one is social skills. Can I handle interactions positively? Sometimes you attend a networking session, and there are lots of people, and you have your business cards, which are not enough, of course. It's more about understanding people needs, understanding why they're here. If you can come and find what we call a common bridge. For example, if you are in a networking session, you are meeting lots of people, why they are here, what are they waiting for, what they're looking for, and you try to interact with people in order to understand what are their needs. And when you try to find the common bridge between you and them, then you can actually develop a new project, a new idea with them, something that can last. And then you can give them what we call a call to action, and you can give them their number, you can call them and see them back. But if you just give them your business card just because just because that's how it should be, without having any common interest, it doesn't make any sense. So the whole smart part of AI here, when it comes to social skills, is to be able to find common interests with people. Straightforward, don't waste your time talking too much. It takes up to 1 to 3 minutes, okay? Talk to them, find how you can do together, and then you can develop this relationship. So how to manage emotions? So I will here introduce quickly 24 skills. So every skill takes up to 24 hours of workshops, a separate workshop in order to develop it. It could be actually take a whole week sometimes, or 2 weeks. We'll start with the first one. So as we said, we have 5 parts. We'll start with the self-awareness. So we have what we call emotional awareness. This is the most and first important skill. So the idea is to be able to be aware of your emotions at any time, during any occurring event, okay? Just the fact that something happens and I feel bad, or instead of just feeling bad and just staying in that state, I just try to think about what made me feel bad, okay? Just like you can take yourself out of yourself and then observe yourself and ask yourself, why am I feeling bad? This is the thing. And you can watch the whole situation and try to understand what's happening, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing, self-evaluation. What did I do wrong? What did it happen? Because usually when we feel bad, we always blame other people. We think that they're wrong, they made mistakes, I'm perfect, I did everything right. But to be honest, it's not the case. Usually we are two in this situation, so probably I did something wrong. So if I can evaluate, give a quick evaluation of myself, a quick review, to tell, did I behave the right way? What did I do wrong? Okay? And the third one is the self-confidence. Of course, in order to be able to do all of this, you need some kind of confidence, okay? Being able to be confident in yourself, to say that I was wrong, and you can even say sorry when something bad, you did something bad, or you can just have enough confidence on yourself to say, no, I was right, you are wrong, and you can make sure the other person understands that he was making a mistake, okay? So it goes into the two senses. Then the second one is self-regulation. So we have these skills here. We have self-management, be able to manage myself. Reliability, which is so important. One of the strongest value when dealing in a relationship, it could be in personal or professional life, is reliability. So what is reliability here? What does it mean? Being reliable? Exactly, that's so important. In many relationships, and even with our colleagues sometimes, what happens is when someone asks you to give him a service or to do anything instead of him, you are not 100% sure that this person will do it the right way, okay? Or in a couple, for example, you ask your colleague or best friend to do something for you, a service, but if this person is reliable, it means that you will feel these good emotions that make you feel good, and make sure that this person will be reliable. You can count on him at any time without the need of calling him every time and to repeat yourself. Okay? So this is a very important value. Then we have professionalism. Of course, we have to have some kind of professionalism. Adaptability. I have to be able to adapt myself to different situations. So that's so important. Here in Tunisia, or you live in another country, you have to be able to learn from the cultural aspect and learn from people how they behave, because behaviors and values are so different. Some of them are supposed to be universal, of course, but to be honest, based on my experience, they are very different from a country to another, from a culture, from situation to another. Sometimes you are from the same family, your brothers and sisters, and you have different values. You don't behave the same, you don't understand them, right? So sometimes from the same family. So what about talking about the whole world and different countries and different cultures? So then we have innovation. Of course, you have always to innovate yourself, to do something new, to think about something that is innovative and new. And then, so number 3, motivation. We have striving for perfection. So here it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means try to get closer to perfection. The best perfect version of ourselves is now, actually. But always try to improve yourself little by little, okay? Then we have what we call commitment. So when I do something, either I do it with commitment or I just don't do it. I know lots of students or even people in business, they do something, but they don't necessarily want to do that. They spend 2-3 years studying something they don't like. They do a business they don't like. They work in a company, but they don't like what the company does. So in this case, you are not committed, and you can't be committed 100%, right? So the best thing is just to find what is made for you, and just to commit yourself to something that is important for you. So number 3 is initiative. Always try to take the initiative. Be proactive and not reactive. Why? Because, for example, if you have a team members, you are in a project, you know, the worst person is the one who is always there to follow. The best person is the one who is calling others, taking initiative, and you can feel his energy, you can feel he's there, and he's giving lots of energy to the group. And last one is optimism. Optimism, always be optimistic, even you missed the deadline, you didn't reach the goals, and you failed to pass, or any reason, always stay optimistic. Okay, so now we move to the empathy. Now, the first ones were self-related. Now we move to the one that are related to others, the interpersonal ones. We start with the empathy, understanding others, of course. Always try to understand others, but not when it's too late. Try to understand others when an event happens, when something happens. When you act, always try to see these triggers, the emotional triggers on other people, on how did they feel about it. Okay? The service orientation, being always open to serve others, to help others, being generous, is not a bad thing. Some people always take from others, they never give to others. It's very important here to be always open to help, and even sometimes it could be for free. You can do it, but nothing is for free. Everything has a price, and things will come up to you later for sure. Enriching others, always make sure you make others a better version of themselves. Promoting diversity is very important. For example, in your team, we don't all need to be perfect. You can have some differences, and differences are always good because it makes a complementary team. Okay? And political sensibility. This is so important. I'm not talking about politics here, I'm talking about your role in a team. Okay? When you have a specific role with specific tasks, try not to take other people's tasks, not to jump. If you have a hierarchy, you have superiors and you have subordinates, try to not jump into their role and their tasks, because you have to stick to, you know, your frame. Okay, this is so important. Okay, and that's how life works. We all have roles, even in a family. You have your father, you can have children, sister, brothers. Your father has his place, you cannot take his place, right? So this is how it works in a workplace or in personal life. Then we finish with the social skills. So we have influence, of course, if you are able to have some kind of influence on people, positive influence, communication, mediation skills, leadership, change management. You'll be able to change the processes, to always improve and make sure you know how to handle people who are resisting to that. Building connections is important, collaborating and cooperation, and finally, team mobilization ability. So for example, if you're having a team and you have an event or any action on any project, you need to mobilize your team to make sure they're motivated enough and to finish the job in an effective way. So that's all the skills, and as I said, every micro skill here could be in a whole workshop. And if you guys develop these 25 competencies and you can apply it in a real life situation, so then we can say that we are actually closer to be more and more emotionally intelligent. So thank you so much, guys, again. This is how you can reach me. You have my contact here. Thank you so much. And let me finish with this quote. IQ and technical skills are important, but emotional intelligence is the sine qua non of leadership. So thank you much again, so much, and I'm open to receive your questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khaled, for this instructive presentation. And now, guys, can you move to the QA session? Do you have any questions? Does anyone have any question? Okay.
Hi, thank you for presentation. So I wanted to ask, I know theoretically it's amazing to have all those skills, but in real life, with workshops, with whatever, can you reach a level when you acquire all these skills?
Very good question. So these skills, as I said, they are part of what we call continuous improvement, meaning that we can actually have some workshops and improve ourselves. Of course, especially when these workshops are realistic, you are practicing them into a real life situation. But it's a continuous improvement, meaning that you never, it's against yourself. There is no mark, there is no level, there is no, it's just a continuous improvement, and you always learn from yourself. So you are your own, let's say, achievement, you are your own version, you are always improving yourself little by little, and learning from your mistakes. Okay? Yes? Some question there.
Hi. I just want to ask if do we need someone to motivate us, or I need to discipline myself to follow a pattern in order to meet goals?
Okay, that's a philosophical question. Uh, Actually, we need to have some kind of self-motivation, of course. So we have two parts of motivation, okay? We have what we call inner motivation and outer motivation. Some people, unfortunately, they are more influenced by what we call outer motivation, meaning that all the motivation that comes to us come from outside. For example, when we are children, all the motivation comes from our friends, our neighbors, our teammates. Want to go out. It's not from our parents, for example. Sometimes they don't understand why we are behaving like this, we are following others. It's because all the motivation is coming from outside, from the school, that's why when we grow up, our parents, they find themselves, they can't control us anymore because our motivation is coming from outside. And little by little, over the years, we learn from our experiences, and then we develop what we call inner motivation, little by little. And then you start asking yourself what I really want. I don't want this model of life. I don't want to follow this kind of people. I don't want to follow these experiences. I prefer to have something else. Okay, and then you start developing your own experience, and it happens to you by yourself. Nobody can help you with that. The inner motivation comes by itself as you start thinking about existential questions about yourself. Okay, and then you can follow a pattern that you can design by yourself. You can be inspired by other people, but the most important thing related to this inner motivation is about finding your own, creating your own pattern and following it. Okay.
Hello, and thank you for introducing this interesting topic. You talked about empathy. In some situations, we can deal with people who are not empaths, not necessarily. Sometimes we can deal with people who can't understand our feelings. So how can we react in these situations?
Okay, just give it a try. You try for a few times, but it's not about themselves, it's about yourself. You are not doing this to themselves, you are doing this to yourself, meaning that when you develop some kind of empathy towards someone, you are not giving him actually, it's not for him, it's for you. It means that you are doing that in order to understand him and to feel probably better and to take the right decision, okay? Even this person doesn't develop any kind of empathy and don't understand what you are saying, then you just give it some trials, okay? And then you are sure you are take the right decision. So just try to think about what will be the best solution for you. You have tried to be empathetic, you have tried to understand him, but it doesn't work. So then you can move to the next level. And then, for example, let's say you have a superior or supervisor in your team, in your department, who is always angry. He never understands you. He's super mad at you all the time. So you can try to talk to him to understand him why he's behaving like that. But at some point, you can have to make a choice. Either you stay and you accept that, because this person will never change. Okay. But you are aware that he's not changing, and you are aware that you are understanding him. So either you leave and you decide to leave and you pay the price, or you decide to stay and you pay the price too. And here the price is different. When you will be leaving, the price is to leave, where you were. And where you decide to stay, the price is to have to support, you have to live with this situation, okay? And accept it.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this very interesting topic. I just wanted to ask, in case of those people who like very and overly empathetic to others and everything, and they're like starting to get in this professional life and this business world, what are the steps that you like recommend to they start practicing empathy in the right way with those people?
Okay, that's a very good question. Some people they spend all the time just talking to you about what's happened with their wife, their husband, their personal life, and so the first thing is to be what we call an abstract canal. Channel means that what comes goes, like never, nothing stays. Like that we do when we practice coaching. We listen to people, we are empathetic, but we never keep these emotions inside, okay? What comes has to go. That's the first thing. Second thing, we have to just give the time that it requires to listen to them quickly and to be there for them. You don't have to be all the time there, because they can actually, you can hire someone who can play this role of just listening the whole time to them. But if you have other goals, you have your own life, then just try to do the minimum to understand them and just try to give them some advices without being overwhelming, okay? So you can limit your time with them. That's the answer. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fayed.